Alright, welcome back to another tutorial in Maya. Today we are going to build a city. Check this out. Ed Whetstone created what's known as Kludge City. And Kludge City is a procedural script. It's a Mel script that is procedural, and what it does is it helps you generate entire buildings almost just with a click of a button. I mean, pretty powerful stuff for what Ed is doing for us here with this Kludge City. So if you ever need some good looking buildings, you're going to need Kludge City. So we're going to take a look at that today. And right now you can see I just have a reference sphere up here. I just have a blend attached to it, and I'm in the physical sun and sky system. And I'm using the MIA exposure photographic node. For that. So there's a tutorial on that if you need. Anyway, that's what I'm working with. I'm in mental ray production settings, and you know, that's the render I'm getting by default right now. I think I have global illumination and final gathering on, and I really haven't made any other adjustments other than just enabled everything to its basic default level. So you want to kind of be in mental ray for this because the MIA material is being used, and you might want to, you know, try and use it in your physical sun and sky system because it's kind of optimized for that. And you know, just set it up like that. But this is really cool. So let me show you where we're at. I sort of just generated a bunch of buildings, and I attached a camera. And let's see if I can play this through without having it hang up. Yeah, it wants to hang up a bit on me, and that's because my screen program is running. So anyway, I guess I'll just scrub through this. As you can see, it has a ton of useful potential because you can set up your camera moves. You can come in here and you can get your, you know, you can get those shots that just are awesome. So anyway, nothing better than a city. And nothing better than not having to model this city yourself, because think about this. By the time you get done modeling something like this, each individually, and putting all your UVs in place and getting everything lined up, I mean, what a chore that is. And that's the beauty of Ed Whetstone's script we're going to take a look at. So I'm going to minimize Maya here for a sec, and let's pull up the all the info. You know, Kludge City has been around for a while, and Ed has quite a few different versions underneath the one that we're using now, which is, I'm using 0.1.7. And, you know, as always, Lester Banks features this stuff, and he always keeps abreast of the new developments for Kludge City and what Ed Whetstone's doing. So make sure you check out Lester all the time for good CG stuff in Maya. And, you know, basically, Ed Whetstone, you want to go to his site, Ed Whetstone, visual effects artist, and download the Mel. It's real easy to do. Just click on the picture that looks like that, and you'll have it get a download, and just, you know, download it to your desktop. It'll be a little zip file. And don't forget to donate, because Ed, you know, he's donating this as freeware, so you don't have to pay for it, but you know, he's put a ton of work into this. I mean, this is a great application. If anyone deserves 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, $100, I don't know, whatever you can afford, yeah, send it over Ed's way. Don't be afraid to donate. Be a good person. All right? And most of what I learned while I came up with a need to have some buildings and stuff, and so I decided to play around with this, and it's great because Pradeep Mumgain over at Anikito, that's another good place to go for tutorials. Pradeep does a great job of doing tutorials, and so you'll learn a lot of stuff if you go over to Anikito. And a lot of the information I got from was Pradeep's tutorial. So I'm kind of rehashing some stuff, and I'm sorry, Pradeep, for redoing tons of stuff, but I think that my viewers want to know, and I will send them your way. So go see Pradeep, okay? And anyway, here's what you'll see. This is sort of just a picture of the basic breakdown, and you can get a little bit more information on Ed's site. So anyway, that's the deal, okay? So go there and get that file, download it, put it on your desktop, and that should be what it looks like. In this case, you want to open up that folder of your Kludge City there, and you should have a couple of files. You'll have a Mel file and then a footprint file. And what you want to do is just take this Mel file right here. And let's see if we can take that Kludge City Mel. And in my case, I'm on a Mac, and it's under Users, Shared, Autodesk, Maya, and 2011, because I'm in 2011 right here, and Scripts. So I dropped it in that little script folder right there, okay? So that's where you should put it, right there. And when you get that done, you can put your main footprints, you know, Maya MB file in, you know, wherever you want in your main project files folder or wherever, but we're going to be opening up this file in Maya. So now you'll want to launch Maya, because you'll need to, if you had Maya open, you'll want to close Maya and then reopen, because then that Mel Script will register in there. So anyway, do that. All right, and once you're there, go into Maya, launch Maya, and in this case, this is my older version, so, or I mean, this is just my trial version. So I'm going to basically just, I'll say I'll open a scene. And then I'll just navigate over there to where I have mine, which is my Media Master, 2011, and Kludge City. There's Kludge. There's Kludge City. Kludge City is the footprints, K-City Footprints MB. So I'm going to open that. I don't need to save anything there. And there you go. So when mine opens, this is what I get. The UV texture editor is open as well. So that should be kind of what you get when you open up this MB file. All right. And I think I'll go in and put my wireframe on. And as you can see, there's a bunch of footprints. Really easy. You click on one, it shows up in the outliner as the, you know, footprint 11. You get the picture. Footprint 7, 6. So at this point, we're pretty much ready to make a building, but we have to enable this Mel Script first. So come down into the Mel line, just click in there, and in this case it's ed capital W underscore and then KLUDGE and city and a semicolon, and that should open it up for us, and hit enter, and you should get on your screen a new interface window, and this is where all the stuff happens with our Kludge City. Okay, so at this point you may want to save this file, do a file save as, or, you know, give it another unique name or whatever, just so you can sort of be, you know, all coherent within one project. So anyway, once you get there, you have various options in here with the floors, additional tiers, windows, base, and roof. You can make adjustments to all this stuff in here. And in this case, let's just go with defaults and see what happens. So I'll go ahead and drop down these menus over here, and we'll go with just sort of see what our options are real quick. You can feel free to switch any of this stuff up. It does have quite a bit of variability. And you know, I think the floors, we'll look at the floors first. This one's at 15 for the first 15 floors, and then the second tier will have 4 floors on that, and then the third tier will have 6 floors. And you know, so you can also see where you can have windows. You can have them on the north, south, east, or west. No big deal there. Lots of variability, and you can go with windows per cell. So you can do some testing, you know, maybe create one by default and then create another one that, you know, has some variability to it. But in this case, we have footprint 6 chosen. We have that right there showing up. And up here in the very top, you'll see where right now this is on auto. And technically, we don't really want to be on auto. What we want to do is just hit this button over here, which loads that footprint. Now you'll notice we're footprint 6. There it is, and there it is. And then it's as simple as coming down here and clicking the execute button. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and we'll go through this one time, and then you can start creating your own city. Because it will take probably about, depending on what kind of computer you're on, it could take anywhere from 2, 3, 4 minutes, maybe less. We'll judge it out here. It's 9:49. Let's see, what time is it? It's 5:24:40. Yeah, and it's really calculating a lot of extreme stuff. I mean, you know, it's going through every single floor. It's creating UVs for the faces and for the floors and the surfaces and, you know, just about everything that this building requires. And it's updating over here in the outliner. You'll notice that as soon as we're done with creating this building, we'll have, you know, a full breakdown of every part that's in that building. And there's a lot of them. Okay, so you kind of have to just write it out and think about the possibilities at this point. You can create your own custom footprints in this system, and I'll show you how and where that's all about. Right now I'm kind of stuck because we just have to wait for this to kind of pan out. And my system is a Mac Tower, about 10 gigs of RAM. So if you're on a laptop or something else, or an older system, or I'm not sure, on an older PC or something, it'll take 4 or 5 minutes. But the wait is worth it. You know, when you generate a whole city, it'll take you, 2 hours or so, or maybe even less. And then you'll have a really nice city. And these are some fine looking buildings, so very, very useful. All right, well, as we're waiting, I might as well give you some news. As always, I don't do much modeling on this site, or at least not modeling tutorials, because, you know, it's sort of like watching paint dry in a way. There's enough information online that you can get for modeling and whatnot. So, you know, this is just sort of a modeling tutorial, but not really. And you know, yeah, modeling is sort of a, you know, a vision. And actually, Ed has done a great job with the shapes and the design of the buildings in this city. And he has all sorts of other ones previous to this, so feel free to kind of go back there and check those out as well. So as it's going along here, I'm doing these tutorials on YouTube for free, and they always will be, because I'm using an educational version of the software. And so really it's for non-commercial use, it's for learning purposes, and you know, that's what we're doing. But in the future, since 2012, Maya 2012 has come out, I am going to upgrade to a commercial version of that and start producing a little bit more in-depth training tutorials, and hopefully getting some industry pros to give us some tips, and you know, to really get in depth in some of this stuff. So, you know, the sky is the limit, and there's lots of good people out there doing incredible work in the animation and visual effects industry, and hopefully we will be able to go out and feature some of those people and have them teach us a thing or two about a thing or two. So that's coming in the future. It'll probably be a paid series or a donation type thing, and we're going to start it out and hopefully just be able to produce some stuff for you that's entertaining and instructive as well. So there you go. So this should be about the last part of the generation of the UVs. We've got 3,412. That's a lot of information, and you'll notice where it's over here. It's building a group, and in the outliner will be sort of important later on when you get into texturing and things with this city system. So, you know, just be aware that there's a lot of parts, a lot of stuff. Okay, so there it is. There's our building. Perfect. So I'm going to just sort of deactivate it there for a sec. You'll notice at the top you have kind of like a locator or a grid for the top there, and that's really cool. That lets you select the whole entire building, and then you're able to move it. With your general tools, you can set your wherever you want, like the Y minimum. If we wanted to set our pivot point at the Y minimum, I could press there. If you want to do the Y maximum, it'll come up to the top. And if you want to go to the origin, it'll go back to the origin on my grid back there. You can put it on an X minimum, an X maximum. You can also set it to a selected area. And that's pretty much what that does. Setting it to a selected area, Pradeep does a pretty good job of explaining how to set this to an area. In this case, I forget the order, but maybe it's you grab it right there and then select another plane and then hit selected there, and that will set the origin, yeah, right in at that point. So anyway, you get the idea. You can sort of mess around with that. I think I'll just stay with the Y minimum for now. And let's take a look at one thing over here. Let's see, we got move objects, so you can basically play around with some parenting, but for the most part right now we're just going to be playing around with getting some buildings built and getting our pivot point set at the Y minimum. All right. The footprint tools. This does have footprint tools, so if you want to create some buildings, just some random generic stuff that needs to fill in background or whatever, there's various choices here, and all you have to do is choose one. In this case, if I want to do a radial footprint, I'll just go ahead and say, okay, let's create a radial plane. Okay, and there it is. So now that is basically a plane that we could generate a building from now. So that's kind of how those work over there, and you can set different divisions and everything. That's cool. All right, let's take a look at the building selections. Over here, if you come to your building and select the top portion, you could say choose select windows, and that's going to basically select all of the windows for you. If you select the building again and change that up to maybe selecting the walls, I'll go ahead and select walls. Now it has the walls are selected. If I want to select ledges, go ahead and grab the top there and activate the whole building and go to your select ledge, and that'll select the ledges that go around there. So that'll help and aid in texturing and whatnot. So that is super cool. All right, so let's see here. Back to the architect. Now, after you've created your first building, let's say we created that one. Let's say we want to create another building based on this footprint. Well, that's footprint 18, and there it is. Always make sure that if you want that, if we want this footprint, that you come over and load that footprint. That's very important, because right now it's stuck on number 6, and we activated 18, so we want to make sure we load that first. Okay, and after you load it, you can come down here and you can hit execute. Now in Pradeep's tutorial, he has a randomize method, and I'm not quite clear on exactly how the randomize function is working. So watch Pradeep's tutorial over on Anikito, and I don't know if you'll pick up any more clues, but that's what it is for now. So anyway, sometimes you can just go ahead and click randomize and then click execute, and your building will be generated. So that's that. Let's see if there's anything I forgot. It's basically that simple. I mean, this is a wonderful, brilliant, little Mel script, and Ed did a great job and continues to do a great job on this script. So this is exactly what I needed to get the look I needed, and here's what I'm getting after I've built my city. So just awesome. Here's a couple different views with a couple different angles. So imagine if you were doing a roll around or something, you'd get all this nice variation. So that one right there is the sun straight on, and then here is the sun from backlit. So anyway, lots of possibilities for texturing there, and of course that'll be the second stage that you'll go to. I changed the MIA material that's attached to the windows here. I just sort of added a little green hue to it over in the Hypershade, and we should probably take a look at the Hypershade real quick, Let's come into the Hypershade where we got let's get our Hypershade up. And most of the default materials in here are the MIA Material X materials. And here is the glass one right here. And if I select that, let's see if I can kind of get a look on what I did there. I switched up the color a little bit on one of these. Well, anyway. Yeah. So anyway, since this is a new project, I guess this is this is a rendering from the old file. But anyway, I changed the glass to a little bit more green. And I just sort of started to play around with, coloring for surfaces and stuff. So I switched this material up. But essentially, this is all default, and it looks really good for being default. So you can imagine the possibilities. So go forth, build some cities on rock and roll or whatever you listen to, and have fun. And go see Ed over at his website at Ed Whetstone, and go see Pradeep over at Aniquito, and of course go see Lester Banks. And thanks for watching, and as always, be a good person, and enjoy life, and yeah, read a book. It's relaxing, and it's a software manual. All right. All right, have fun.